your school and your workplace, usually you tend to remain more or less in the same place. Not necessarily you stay to live with your parents, but you will not emigrate to other cultures, to other places, because the toolbox which you acquired through your life actually serves you the best in your society. So why go to other countries to start learning other languages, other cultures, other ways how to behave, if everything is being provided by your home country, your spouse, your house, your school, means university or whatever, and your workplace. So if all these four elements are being provided, you don't tend to immigrate to other places. Why should you leave the place? While in Islam, the immigration is better than remaining in your place, because this is what opened the gates of the world for Muhammad, means the immigration. So if you are living in a bad place, which is you are impoverished, or you are chased, or you are persecuted, or there is a desert without any prospects of any prosperity, so the best thing is to emigrate to other places. Now, not only this, the priority of immigration is higher than in our societies. But not only this, since Muhammad succeeded to spread Islam in the place which he emigrated to, you should walk on his footsteps as well, because he is the role model for every Muslim everywhere. Means immigration is not only to make your situation better only, it's also to emulate what was with Muhammad, who succeeded in Medina to spread Islam not only on Medina but all over the world after the gates were opened by the immigration. Means that many of them, I'm not saying that all of them, especially those who come after experiencing atrocities as they do in Syria and other places, many of them immigrate not in order to become Europeans or Americans. They immigrate in order to spread Islam. You can hear it very well in sermons, in mosques, in Europe, where they come and every Friday and they hear what they hear. And whether implicitly or explicitly, many sermons which are delivered in Europe are in this vein. They even say it out loud, that we come here not in order to become Europeans, not in order to become permissive, materialistic, as the Europeans are. We are coming to spread Islam in a good way, not by terror, not by subjugation, but by, as they call, da'wah. Da'wah in Arabic means a call, to call people, to call upon them to enter Islam, to join Islam, to show how good Islam is, to show how moral Islam is. And they do relate to their religion as a good religion, moral religion, because they keep the rules of modesty much better than other countries and other societies, because they keep being attached to each other, support each other much more than as it is in individualistic societies as the European and the American one. So when they compare their own society or their own ways of conduct to what happens in Europe and in America, they come to a conclusion that they are much better by their behavior. And I'm not talking about terror. I'm talking about how they support each other, how cozy they are with each other, how supportive they are to each other, and how moral they are, because their girls stay, let's say, intact until they get married, and many other things as well. So they definitely see themselves as a better society, better religion, and this actually stated in the Quran. The Quran, there is a verse in the Quran which says, "Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas," means you are the best nation which came out to mankind. And the verse continues, تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. Means you order each other to do the good things and you forbid each other from doing the bad things. Means according to Islam, you are the best nation which came out to mankind because you are actually watching each other, that everyone is doing the good things while you prevent each other from doing the bad things. This is what makes you the best nation in the world. And this is a verse in the Quran which appears several times in the Quran. Means that if we Muslims come to Europe or to America and we try to spread Islam on those countries, as our Prophet Muhammad did, and we actually walk on his footsteps, it is some kind of a favor which we do to those societies, societies which are immersed in sin, which are too permissive, which are too materialistic, which are individualistic societies. They don't support each other. Everyone lives by himself. So we actually bring them a good idea to convert to Islam or to adopt the Islamic ways of how to behave, how to relate to each other, what to do, and especially what not to do. Means that if we come, we actually do good to those societies by spreading Islam in those societies. This is how they think. They are more than sure that even if Americans deny this good which they try to bring, the Americans are mistaken. They don't know what is good for them. And they should come in order to convert America. And I will show it to you later. This idea that Islam should be implemented all over the world is based on few ideas which are actually the operation code of Islam. One of the ideas which is very prominent in Islam, that Islam ya'lu wa la yu'la alayhi, means Islam is superior and nothing is above Islam. Means if you compare Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, whatever religion, to Islam, Islam is the best, because this is the rule. Al-Islam ya'lu wa la yu'la alayhi. Islam is superior and nothing is above Islam. So if we come to America or to other places to convert them to Islam, we actually elevate those societies from the lower situation which they are by being Christians, Jews, or whatever they are. We elevate them to be Muslims because Islam is superior to other cultures. So we actually do a favor to these societies. Another rule, which is part of the operation code of Islam, is that Islam is valid to every place and every time. Applicable. Every place and every time. Means no matter where you are, in America, in Australia, Indonesia, China, past times, present times, future times, Islam is the best way how to arrange your life. If all the countries, all the nations were Muslims, peace would reign all over the world. Pax Islamica, as they call it. And that's why, if we go to all kinds of countries and we help them to understand the situation and become Muslims, we actually bring peace to the world, because the whole world will be under one Allah, under one umbrella, under one rule, under one Sharia law, which will organize the lives of the whole world according to the tenets of Islam. And this is how they think. And if you deny it, you are ignorant. You have to be educated. It comes out from ignorance. Not because of you are a bad guy, but you don't know what is good for you. And we are here in order to bring you the good ideas and the good way how to arrange your society, your country, your state by converting to Islam. This is what pushes many of them, especially clerics, who learned all those things and internalized all these messages and all these ideas, And they go wherever they go in the world in order to spread Islam through, of course, not terror, through the good way how to convince people to come into the Islamic tent, which can be very wide. I just want to show you how some of the ways by which they try to convince people to come to Islam. I-95 between Hollywood and Boca. 2 years ago, a billboard, giant billboard, on the side of I-95, the busiest road in this country. What do Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad have in common? Islam. Means that Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad were all Muslims.
Right.
Because this is the one thing that they have in common. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. And I asked a friend who actually told me that day to turn back to that place so I can take the picture of this billboard. And there is another one I'll show you. Now, what does it mean? Abraham, Moses, and Jesus were Muslims. According to Islam, whoever believes in one God is a Muslim, even if he considers himself to be a Christian or a Jew. Every child all over the world is born Muslim. His parents corrupt him. Okay? So if we Muslims come and convince him to come back to Islam, we actually do him a favor by showing him the way, the right way, which he was born on. And his parents will give the account, will face the consequences of what they did to him in heaven in the day of judgment, because they corrupted. Okay? So, Jesus, since he believed in one God, Abraham believed in one God, Moses believed in one God, what were they if not Muslims? Okay? Now, not only this, Islam, according to its own view, came to the world in the 7th century not to live side by side with Christianity and Judaism, but to replace them. To come, they took the theory of replacement one step forward, and now Islam is the replacement of Judaism and Christianity. This is based on the Islamic, on the verse of the Quran which says, "Inna dina inda Allahi al-Islam," means the religion at Allah's is only Islam. Means Allah doesn't recognize any other religion. And all the other religions are din al-batil, means the religion of falsehood, while Islam is din al-haq, means religion of truth. The only religion of truth. So again, if they come to these countries in order to convince people to convert to Islam, they actually bring the truth, the religion of truth, to the people after they are sticking for no reason to the religion of falsehood, Christianity, Judaism, and any other religion. So this is another motivation why to come, to open the eyes of the people in a good way, by billboards, by, da'wah, as they say, by calling to Islam, to convince them by using the freedom of speech, freedom of publication, freedom of billboards, as it's maintained in this country. On the other side, on the opposite side of I-95, there was another billboard, which is this. Muhammad, peace be upon him, mercy to mankind. Okay? Mercy to mankind. competing with Christianity? Definitely. You think mercy will come by Jesus Christ? Forget it. Muhammad, the merciful. Okay? Never mind how they behave with each other in such merciful way, beheading, so forth. But power of mercy, freedom of speech. Okay? So this is the other side of I-95. Now just imagine how many people pass near these billboards every single day. Okay? And I'm not trying to downgrade Tamiami Trail. But yet, I-95 is much wider, much bigger, much busier. Okay? So, definitely, the exposure of these ideas. Now, how many people could get caught in these ideas? Especially when people are perplexed in their own society, when the education system tries not to bring too many religious issues, when youngsters are confused about what to believe in. Okay? Now, it happens more, I would say, even in universities. Because universities, kids come, the age of 18, 19, some of them could have some issues with the parents in the recent years, like many youngsters. And they come to the university or college, and they see a group of Muslims, very cozy with each other. The girls are dressed very modestly, and the girls nobody touches them because they obey the rules of Islam. And some kids might think that this is a good way because they are not individuals, not lonely kids as we are. They are much more cozy than we are. They support each other. They like to be with each other. And people envy them in some cases, especially kids who are left alone from other kids or from their parents or from their siblings. So looking at them gives them, wow, this is a group which I might feel better with. And if, let's say, a girl who is like 19 in the college, and she is active, with boys since whoever knows, and she's sick of it. She doesn't like anymore to have, she wants to have stable life. And here she sees girls who dress modestly, and nobody touches them. And everybody knows those girls are virgins until the marriage. And then, wow, it might be better. After what I experienced recent years with the boys. Okay, not every girl experiences good, relations. So, kids, and you can see on YouTube, there are several clips of girls and boys who converted to Islam, and they are hugged. Whenever Muslims on campus feel that somebody tries to approach them, a boy or a girl, they hug him or her. Means not physically, but socially. They bring him in. Definitely, they feel that this is their role to open those people's eyes and to bring happiness to them by being closer to Islam and hopefully convert to Islam. Conversion to Islam is very easy. The only thing which you have to do is standing in front of a group of Muslims, preferably in the mosque, and says La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, means no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger, and you are a full Muslim. You don't need any circumcision, it's recommended, but it's not compulsory. And the girl doesn't do anything, and here she is. He or she are Muslims immediately, and everybody accepts them, and you rejoice. They rejoice the fact that this boy or girl converted to Islam. They make a whole party for them, and sometimes this is the first time in the history of these kids that somebody cares about them, especially if these kids come from broken families and so forth. They witness violence in family or domestic violence or so forth. So unfortunately, these kids are the easiest prey for those who try to annex them to their society. And the way of, it's a good way, it's not a terroristic way. And again, they do it in a way which will actually fulfill the ideas that Muhammad showed them, how to be nice to people, how to be passionate with people, how to be compassionate to people, in order to convince them to come into Islam in the good way, in the da'wah way. Imams in this country are working on this day and night, on converting people. Many, I'm not saying that everyone, but there are many who do it. Usually they don't publicize it in order not to be criticized by the American society, media or others. But definitely they do it whenever they feel that this is a safe thing, and this kid, boy or girl, or man or woman, will join the Islamic community peacefully and nicely. They do it, no problem. So because they feel themselves that they're messengers of Islam who come to this country in order to convert it and to help people to come to the truth by converting them to Islam. So this, I think, is the main, I would say, ways how these people think, what they believe about Islam versus Christianity and Judaism and other religions, and what are the conclusions which they derive from the way in which they look at the things when it comes to what they should do in order to spread Islam, convince people to come into Islam afwajan, as they say, lines after lines, line after line, group after group, enter into Islam, when the light of Islam will enlighten the path of other nations which live in the darkness. So this is more or less the way how they think. And what they do afterwards